this is part 2 of the Weet scenario. So we've got all of our cards, we've got our initial formula here. If I click on that, just a reminder, so it's looking in these cells to see if it can find the number that's in this cell. So we want ideally to have everything from 1 to 6. We're expecting to get repeats, that's not a problem. What is a problem is if we get a 0. In this case, we've got 9 of them, which is an abundance. So what do we want to lock in before we start copying? Because I've got 6 numbers here and I've got 20 rows, so I'm going to have 120 cells that I want to have this formula in. So I don't want to type it out that many times. So what do I want to lock in? I'm always looking from there to, so I'm going to lock in that B and I'm going to lock in the O, because always I'm working in these rows. I don't want it to be counting out here. That'd be a nuisance. In terms of P could change when I copy it across to Q through to U, but I always want it to be looking in line 1 because I want it to look for these specific numbers. So I do that. Now it's going to suggest autofill. I'm going to dodge that because I want to move a bit slower. So if I click there, I can see what it's doing. I'm happy with that. I'll copy across. And again, do a check. Here's the number 5. This is the significant one on this one. Check it's doing the right thing. So it's looking within the ones outlined in orange to see if there's the one that's in purple. And there isn't. So it works across. So let's see if we can copy it down, and this will, so we take it down. Now we can look at something where there's another 0 perhaps, so we'll just do a test. So we'll click on there. Oop, we don't want the dictionary. So if I click there, is it doing what I want? It's looking in those cells. Okay, so it's looking at the right row. This is my 19th trial, which is in row 20. And it's looking to see if there's any 6s, which is what lives in U1. And in that row, they got all of the cards. It looks like they got a 1, 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5, but no 6. So it should be showing a 0. Right. So now we go to a thing. So anywhere where there's a 0, in the situation, there's no full set, so it's a problem. Okay. We want to highlight them, although we could just go down and say yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, and so on. So we're going to do, last thing we're going to do on this clip is conditional formatting. We're going to apply it to a range. So we're going to start there, and we're going to go to there. So it's starting at P2 and going all the way to U21. That's okay. I could have typed them in. Okay. Now, format rules. Now, what I'm looking at, if text contains a 0, if text contains a 0, and that happens in those, that's where there's a problem. Now, I can do a few things. I can make them bold. They make it more obvious, and I can color them. Now, I'm going to color them red because it's serious. Okay. And then I hit done. I could add another rule, but I think we'll do that. You can look for other ways you might use this, but I'll close that in the meantime. So that was under format and conditional formatting. Now, in here we could do, we've got full set, put a question mark there, and then we can go down just looking for the red, and that is a no. That is a yes, and so on. And so there might be a way that we could do what I'm doing now that you could work out where you could do that just using the computer to put the no and the yes, and that would be far better. But I'm still learning as well. Okay, so that's filling out our formula, checking what we need to lock and what we don't, and using conditional formatting because that's highlighting our problem ones. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows out of 20 where they didn't get the full set. So then we can use that. That's quite important. So if I go equals 8 divided by 20 times 100. 40% of the time there was no trial. There was no full set. Okay, we'll stop there.